Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here today. Just my audience. Oh. So today for my informative speech, I chose topic Day of the Dead. So Day of the Dead is a huge celebration that is taking part in Mexico. So a famous quote for Santa Cisneros: "The border between the dead and the living doesn't exist. The dead are part of your life, like my dad, who's not here, but he's here. That's why there's Day of the Dead. There's such a connection with the dead. And for many of us, fear death, but for the natives in Mexico, it was a time to travel to Mictlan, where all souls reunited." I use the term natives from Mexico because there was a lot of different names from different tribes, so it's just easier to say generally natives. So, with the large population of Mexican community in the United States today, Day of the Dead is also celebrated in the United States, and many Americans might not know where it comes from. So I'm going to talk about the prehistoric roots of Day of the Dead, how it influenced Latino communities in the United States, and how the holiday is celebrated today. In Mexico, there are many parades, festivals, and it's just a very lively and colorful celebration. People visit cemeteries and they take offerings to their loved ones, like their favorite candy, their favorite drink, even like cigarettes, beer, anything that reminded them of that person that passed. And there's also huge parades, like in Mexico City. There's like it's a huge celebration. Maybe everybody has seen it on TV. I've never attended one, but it looks really cool. For myself, I always had curiosity to learn more about the history of Mexico. Since in high school, I never really learned much about my history, so it was up to me to kind of search and discover my ancestral roots. And Day of the Dead is one that really connects back to our ancestors. The natives worshipped deities of death, and to them, death was more powerful than life itself. They did not fear it. And the journey for the traveling soul was believed to be very challenging. The natives would do rituals and celebrations for 4 years to help the spirit to reach its destination safely. People believe that the souls return home to visit around fall, which is when Day of the Dead originated. It's celebrated by performing rituals, offerings, altars, and freshly harvested food and drinks. The arrival of the Spanish to Mexico gave a new twist to the celebration, bringing Catholic, Christian, and European pagan roots. The celebration officially had a date, November 1st through November 2nd. November 1st was believed to be when souls of children returned, and November 2nd was when adults returned. The pagan gods of the natives became an ancient religion that it had to be worshipped in secret from the conquistadors of Europe, but they still kept the celebration alive. Day of the Dead had a great influence in political movements for Latino community in the United States. In the 1960s and 1970s, a period of civil movements for people of color and Latinos, Chicano activists in California looked for a way to bring their indigenous-inspired Day of the Dead celebration in order to celebrate Mexican heritage in the United States. Chicanos incorporated the celebration as a statement to challenge ideas of what an American should be and bring their culture to the country. They added a lot of art in California, murals, and explored all the different meanings. So the border between the dead and the living doesn't exist. So movies like Coco have really brought the tradition to the United States. The movie represents the symbols and celebrations very accurately on how it is celebrated in Mexico. It is also a very fun movie, and if you look at how it was actually made, the directors really tried their best to incorporate the original and traditional ideas into the movies. So if anybody's ever curious to learn about Day of the Dead, watching Coco is a good and very fun movie to watch, especially if you have kids. They find it very entertaining because it's very colorful, and it also represents how like Mexican culture, the family and everything, and the altars. and many of the different symbols that are very iconic in the tradition. So thank you everybody for being here today.
Okay.
Yes, Bobo.
Tienes habla inglés.
Thank you everybody.